Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm filming my monthly wrap up for the month of October, which I feel like went by super fast and here we are, and it's a bit weird. But alas, let's do it. In the month of October, I feel like I didn't read as much as usual, even though like I definitely read a lot. I read 24 books and I know that's a lot. Like I know, but I feel like I didn't read as much as usual. I just didn't read like properly every day. I had some days like where I only read a few pages, where like I usually read like 100 to 200 pages each day. So I feel like I didn't read as I should. So it was a weird month, but I haven't calculated how many pages. I ended up with 24 books. I'm not like displeased by the number of books, just displeased by how many pages I read throughout the month, every day, because I like to read a certain amount every day. But we're gonna go through the books. I'm gonna try to be concise, quick, because I don't want to be here for 50 minutes. And a lot of these I already have a review of on my channel, which is like basically my whole channel in October was just lots of reviews. So I hope you enjoyed, and let's go into my thoughts. So I had lots of arcs this month to get through that I had gotten from my friend Justine. So I have a lot of reviews of these arcs on my channel. The first one I read was Prince of Song and Sea by Lisa Miller. This is a a Little Mermaid retelling told from the perspective of Eric. So we have the, our movie Little Mermaid, and then we get Eric's perspective in here for the whole story. And I really enjoyed it. I had the parts to it. I really enjoyed the book. It was really fun. It was like a book I didn't know I needed, but I needed it when I read it. And I ended up enjoying it a lot. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I have a full review on my channel for more thoughts and details. I will leave everything linked down below. We have Anne of Greenville by Mariko Tamaki, which I also have a review of on my channel. And this one is kind of like a modern retelling of Anne of Green Gables. And then we have a main character who's Asian and queer, and she moves to this town where they're really racist and homophobic. So it's basically about her discovering like her experience a lot of harassment, etc. Why is the people on the roof again? Last time I sat there was people on the roof. There's literally like 3 people on the roof right now. Can they see it's me? Because I can see them really clearly. Can they like see right into my bedroom? Either way, shout out to the people on the roof. And yeah, she's just trying to survive in this town where like all of these really horrible things happens. I really enjoyed Anne of Green Gables. I thought it was like really cute, and we have a main character who's really quirky and weird, and here I feel like we didn't experience like the same sweetness in the book. It was just a lot of focus on the bad stuff. But yeah, I was seeing what the author was trying to do. I just didn't love how it was presented, I guess. So yeah, I didn't love this, but I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars. And again, more thoughts in my review. And I read another arc, If You Could See the Sun by Anne Liang. This one follows a main character who goes to this really prestigious school in China, and then they can't afford to pay the tuition anymore, so they say she has to quit there, and then she's gets this ability to turn invisible, and she turns it into a profit where they make this app where people can hire her to do stuff that like no one else can do because she's invisible. Like they don't say that she's invisible, but like they say she can do people favors, and I don't know how she does it. Then it kind of drags on like how far are you willing to go to get money to do this stuff that people request, because they start to request really, I was gonna say evil stuff. So it really like questions your morals, and then it is a great time though, because I really enjoy like how my character's really conflicted. I really enjoy the setting, the thoughts on like classism about the game, and I actually enjoyed like the romance that blossomed. Again, more thoughts in my review. Really enjoyed it. Really strong 4 stars for this one. And then I actually got back to my manga, which is probably also why like I actually managed to read 24 books, because I actually read manga this month compared to the last 2 months. So the next one in line was My Dress Up Darling, Volume 5, which basically follows a main character who really enjoyed like making clothes for like dolls and stuff, and then he has the really popular pretty girl in his class asked him to make him cosplays, and then they start making cosplays together. It's really like fan servicey, like TC with, nakedness, etc. And then we have our main characters actually liking each other. Maybe they haven't confessed anything yet, but we shall see. And then it's just fan servicey and cosplays, and it's fun. It's entertaining. It's kind of shit, but it's like it's good. You know what I mean? Then I read Tales of the Peculiar by Ransom Breaks. This is like a short story collection to this Paragons Home for Peculiar Children, and it is just kind of like their like legends, etc. And I love this so much. Actually, it was such a good time. All the stories were so bizarre, but I really enjoyed them. There were some, of course, similarities to like other known fairy tales, etc. But it was just some super weird ones, like the first one where the cannibals. Crazy, loved it. I was so into the story, but then I actually almost think that this was stronger than like the main books, because how it was like short and concise, and how like you could use different peculiars in your world to make them meet all these different things here feel like fit even more than like in a book when we just have like this plot to drag on that I really like didn't love. And here was just like super funny, and I really enjoyed it. I hope we get a sequel to this with just more short stories, because I loved it so much. Like, it was almost a 5-star, but like there was some stories that were like as great, so 4-star. But I really enjoyed it. I had such a good time with it, so I'm really glad I finally read it, because I think I literally owned it for like 6 years. I don't even know, 5 years. Then I read Verity by Colleen Hoover, my first Colleen Hoover book, and I read this among some other books here for my next book reading Booktober's favorite books. And I read Christy Reed's favorite books. I will leave the link to the vlog down below. More thoughts there, because I'll talk longer about the books there. But basically, this was a writer who's hired to finish off this really known series from another author, and then she has to live in the house, and she finds out secrets about their marriage, and she's horny on the husband, and tragedy has stuck a lot of these people, and then they're horny, and then it's kind of a mystery, but it's a bit weird. And then I kind of guessed what the real story was like at once, so it was a bit like, this is it, this is the most hype book ever, and this is what we got. So I don't know, I didn't even have high expectation. I wouldn't even say I'm disappointed. I'm just like, that's it. I don't even know. I'm giving like 3 stars, but I guess you could in the end decide what is the truth, because you don't really know. But it was a bit whatever. Then I read Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson, which actually followed our main character who was accused when she was a child to kill a baby, and then she has been like in juvenile prison for a really long time, and she's starting to like, I was gonna say not get free, but she lives in this like house kind of where like other people have done crimes, and then she starts up the case again because she has never said she was guilty, but she has never said she was innocent either. But now she's saying she's innocent, and then the case is brought up again, and then you need to see what the truth is for yourself. It's very intense book, very sad as well, and crazy for me like how the story went. I didn't like love the ending, but it was still enjoyable, and I feel like very intense book, because our main character, the reason she starts writing is because she gets pregnant, so she doesn't want the baby taken from her, and that's why she feels like she has to now plead innocent and take up the case again. But yeah, I don't want to say more, because it's the kind of book like you have to read for yourself, because you don't want to give anything away. But I really liked it. 4 to 5 stars. And I finally, again, read another manga. Oh, this is not even a manga, it's a graphic novel, which is Solo Leveling Evolution 4, finally continuing. I was so behind on my manga and stuff that the next one has already been released before I read this one, and I always like had them as pre-orders, so that was a bit weird. But yeah, this one follows the weakest hunter of humankind, because you have like these hunters that you could earn money, they go into these dungeons and like all that stuff, and he was like the worst ever, so he didn't really get a lot. But then he gets this thing in the first one that makes him really powerful, we could say, and it's like the best thing in the whole world. And now like there's a lot of like, I was gonna say player on the chessboard, because everyone want to take him down, because now he's done different stuff, and it's just so many things happening, while at the same time we have my character like trying to get stronger and definitely going more towards the dark side. It's very interesting. Really love it. It's such a good time, and I recommend it so much. Then we have Daisy Jones at 6 by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I read for the Christy vlog. I'm just calling it a Christy Love vlog. This one follows this band in the 70s that like were really popular, and then it follow like their rise and fall, I would say. And it is told like through interviews and stuff, and people love this. And I didn't love it as much. I just didn't love how it was a lot of telling us how we were supposed to feel, how people were, instead of like showing us. And I didn't like, I guess, our main characters at all. I thought they were all like annoying and a bit privileged, and I just didn't care. And I guess I don't care that much about rock and roll and stuff, so I guess it didn't really fall like into my taste. I can see why a lot of people are obsessed with this, but I was just like, meh, it wasn't really it for me. But now I guess I can say I read it. I don't really care. So yeah, I have more thoughts I guess in the vlog, but 2 out of 5 stars. Then read Never and Forever by Christina Colwell, which I listened to an audiobook of, and this is the last book in the Wishes of One series, which basically follows Wish and Sar, and Wish is the daughter of like people who hunt magic, witch hunters, and then she has magic herself. And then we have Sar, who is the daughter of like the most powerful wizard, but he doesn't have any magic. And then like kind of meet and like have all these, I was going to wishes for what they want to do with their life. And then you have witches returning, which is like the evil of the forest. And it's just a very fun series. It is told in a really fun, format. We have like really illustrations, and the audiobook is, you know, narrated by David Tennant, which makes like everything worth it. And it's just like a really like stunning book as well. It's just really fun, made a grade that I really enjoyed. So recommend it a lot. And I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars, and now I finished the series, which is great, which is on the series I needed to finish this year. So at least I managed one. Yay. Then I read The Column of Fire, or an evig ild in Norwegian. I can't follow it. I have a weird Norwegian arc of it because I got it many years ago when I worked in the bookstore. Didn't bother buying a new one, obviously. And this one is the 3rd book in the Kingsbridge series. And now the least favorite in the series, because I just didn't love this. I love the other books because you follow, like, you know, Kingsbridge is a small town, and how like this town like evolves, etc., and how all these characters live there. Always some bad people, always some good people, always a weird love story, and how like they try to survive this town, and like how it affects like what's gonna happen there. But in this one, we just like, we didn't almost follow the people in town. We followed some people from the town, but we weren't in the town. We were in France mostly, and then we also follow like Mary, Queen of Scots, and a little bit of Elizabeth's reign, but like not her point of view, but like people around her that work for her, and just like France politics and stuff. Like basically like reign, which I loved, and I know like a lot of the events. I guess I knew a lot of things that were gonna happen, which I guess a lot of people do if like they read her sort of fiction, they're like known events. But like in the other books, we have mentions of like the royalty, like wars that is happening, and like yes, it does affect the people there, but it wasn't like so like detailed. Like we didn't follow it, but here we like literally followed it, and I thought it was weird because then it didn't feel like a Kingsbridge big book anymore. It felt like just another historical fiction. But what I liked about the book is like the town, like what happens there, and how it affects like other people. We were barely there, and it was very disappointing. I didn't really love this. I don't think it's a bad book. I just think that it lost the charm of what I enjoyed about the other books. But yeah, I give it like 3 out of 5 stars. Then we have Strike the Zither by Joanne He, which I also have a review from my channel because I have an arc. And this one is a news book by this author. And in this one, oh my god, we follow Zither, who is like the strategist of like one of the people who's like rising in empire, but she doesn't really have any land, the person she's working for. And then she is capturing herself from the enemy, or not enemy, but like the emperor army. And then in that army, she's like trying to take them down from the inside because she's a strategist. She's actually really smart, and it was a really enjoyable book. We also have like art in the beginning of how the people are supposed to look like. And here is our main character. And there's, I think, one of the Sword Sisters. Yes, one of the Sword Sisters for like the person they follow, which I have now forgotten the name of. Ren? What's her name, Ren? I'm gonna check. Yes, it was. Oh my god, I remembered. And then it has, I would say, a plot twist in the middle that you don't like expect coming, that changes the whole game of the book. And I loved it. It was so cool. I really enjoyed how the book was set up. I really enjoyed how smart our main character was, and I really enjoyed the different bits and pieces. I just didn't love, I was gonna say the romance, just because they were like here for each other for like 4 minutes, so that was weird. But I would enjoy it more if they were just friends and had moments, and that like, but they didn't like felt so attached in such a long time. I don't even know. But again, very enjoyable. I think it did so well, and the atmosphere was marvelous. How it was written, it was marvelous. Really thought through book, and really strong 4 out of 5 stars. So really recommend it. Then I read A Girl from the Other Side by Nightingale, which is actually the final volume in like the main story. We get like a short story collection, but it's the final volume in the main story. It's for the Shiva, who lives on the outside, where like there are like creatures going around that has like the curse, and then people on the inside, humans, don't have the curse, but she's a human living on the outside that doesn't have the curse. And you like try to find out why and how to avoid getting the curse to Shiva, and that's basically the plot. And then we have her and teacher living together, and they're really adorable, and it's like just generally a really adorable manga. And I guess we were trying to get some answers here. I thought it was a bit confusing and vague, but I think like it never gave concrete answers in the first place. So I feel like being vague is a big part of the story, and I feel like it's more about the atmosphere. So yeah, I did enjoy it in the end though, and I had a good time, and I can't believe it's over in theory, except the short story thing. Then I read The Long Walk by Stephen King, which I borrowed from a friend, so I don't have the copy anymore. And this I also read for the Christian blog, and it basically is this, the main sport, or like a huge sport in America, is to go on this long walk, and the person last one standing wins, I think, any wish in the world. And now we have our main character who like goes on this walk, and we follow like many different characters as they're walking, and if they stop walking, they die. So it's basically like, you know, a death game kind of trope thing. Not a that the book was a trope, but like the death game trope. That was what I was trying to say. And it was, I guess, enjoyable. I really liked the concept. I liked that it was short compared to like some other Stephen King work. I just don't like how Stephen King writes, and I don't like how he writes characters. So in that way, like that stopped me from enjoying it fully. But like it was an enjoyable book. I think like it was a very interesting concept. I just wish that like we got more of like what happened in the end, I guess. And I didn't like care for like some of the characters on the world, I guess. But just the experience of it was cool. And I guess it was like one of the Stephen King books I enjoyed more than others. So I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars. Then I did my little 48-hour readathon with patrons, where I read 3 books for my 3 different prompts. So the first one was to read a book with a weapon on the cover. And I had like a full vlog of the readathon. So I will leave that link down below as well. But yeah, the first prompt was to read a book with a weapon on the cover. So I read finally Trials of Apollo, Hidden Oracle. And obviously as a big bow thing. And I loved it. I love following Apollo, who is like cursed turned into human. I love seeing Camp Half-Blood again. I can imagine fans who like had finished like all the old books and like going back here, I guess. But I guess this didn't come out that long after Blood of Olympus. But it was just such an enjoyable book. I love seeing the continuing of the story, how it all comes together, seeing characters we know again. Love it so much. Love it so much. And now that we know that there's another person coming, screaming. So yeah, I really want to continue. Too bad the books are so expensive. I just want to buy the hardcovers because I don't like the UK paperbacks covers of these. And they're just so expensive. I would just want the next ones, but I cannot buy them because they're too expensive. But I loved it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I want to continue, as I said. Then I read You Made a Fool Out of Death with Your Beauty by Craig Messi. This was to read a book with featuring a romance, and this is a romance book by the author, or you could also say more of a contemporary book with romance in it. And we have a main character who lost a love of her life many years ago, 5 years ago, and she's finally starting to date again. Not finally. She feels ready to start dating again after 5 years after losing the love of her life. And then she starts dating this dude who's really nice, and she's going to meet his family and live with them. And then she starts feeling attraction for someone she shouldn't. And it really like turns the table. Stuff happens. It's kind of crazy how it all goes down. I really enjoyed it. The raw pain that this book had. And I thought it was beautiful. I loved how it all came together. I loved the drama. And it was just such a good time. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. It's my only 5-star book of the month. And I really just adored it to pieces. It was just very, I don't know, a me book, I guess. And I just felt so much for the characters. And I just cared so much for what was happening. And I thought it was written beautifully. So, just, really good. Loved it. Then I read Flying Witch, Volume 10 by Chihiro Ishizuka, which I mean, I'm finally also caught up in the series. Like, the next one is not coming until January. So that is something. And in this one, we actually have like a different setting than the other ones, so that was kind of fun. But the main thing is the series follows Makoto, who goes off like to the north of Japan to like be a witch's apprentice. She's like learning witchy stuff, and there's like really like small cute things happening. She is more like a slice of life story thing. We like have episodic stuff happening, but they do also connect together. And then in this we actually like travel somewhere, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And I was just really into this one. Like I have some views that like felt like we were just going to this rhythm, but everything felt a lot of the same, even though it still like was adorable. But now I really felt like different things were happening, so that was really great time. So I can just talk about the next 2 together because they're in the same series. But I finally finished another vlog that I have been doing since April, which was like to read all of Nebula and Hugo's Finalist. I'll leave that vlog down below. And I felt like finish it up with reading the final books for that vlog. So I had to finish Wayfarers to read like the 4th book because that was like what was nominated. This was not nominated, like, at least not that year, but I had to read this. I wanted to read like, you know, all in series. This one just follows like a spaceship that has stopped, and it doesn't really know its like function after like having to stop because it reaches destination with all these different people living their lives and like their conclusions to what they would do with their life. Didn't really love it, didn't really care for the characters, but I guess I like know that Becky Chambers really liked character focused work, but like it wasn't just my favorite. But this one I really enjoyed. So this one, Gas Underground Within, the 4th and final book in the series, we have like these people that is going to stop on a station, and then the station like gets destroyed, it's going to destroy it, have like a big malfunction, so they can't travel on. And then we have like different characters, different species having to like just be there together and then just like talk to each other, and they're all like, you know, different species that have like had different stuff in their life that is very different for others. And I've just really enjoyed them getting to know each other, them talking with each other, and the connecting. It was really beautiful. I also saw like a character that we had seen like not since the first book, if I remember correctly. I like literally cannot remember the characters from book to book. So yeah, the second book is still my favorite. It's the only one I give it 5 stars because I really enjoyed this, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So I'm really glad to see like a strong one leaving the series. But yeah, so I think like the second one is my favorite, then this, then the first one, and then the third one. So yay. But again, check out the blog down below if you want even more thoughts. Oh my god, I am just linking to everything apparently. Then I also read a Desolation called Peace for the same vlog, and this is obviously the one was unnominated, but I had to read the first book as well, and this is the second book. So this is actually a book that's not for me at all. I think maybe I would try it again like in a few years when I feel like I maybe can like it again, but like just a story that didn't stick in my mind. I can literally not even tell you what this is about. I feel like there's a war brewing. I just don't like how it's written. I don't like how the story was presented. It was boring, and I feel like it didn't stick. I don't know like if it's something to do with like how I read, but I feel like it's not a problem with any other book here. Just this one that didn't stick in my mind. So I don't know, maybe I wasn't interested. Maybe I just initially like went in not wanting to, I don't know, remember it. But like, yeah, I can literally not talk to you about this book. It is not a book for me how it's written at all. I feel like everyone says it's good, and even like, you know, won one of the awards. I just don't see anything in this that I liked because there's nothing that has stick to my mind. I don't know, it's really weird. I don't know why this book turned out like this for me, but I'm a bit sad about it because I know people really love them. I just like didn't like how it was written at all. So yeah, I didn't even like rate it because I feel like what to rate, but I guess if I was gonna have to give it something, it would be like 2 stars. Then I finally continued Bungo Stranger's Volume 13 by Kafka Sagiri and Sanga Harukuwa. So the reason I'm saying finally is because I couldn't get hold of Volume 13 for like, I think it's been like a year since I read it now. It's been too long. And this one is obviously following the agency. I can't even remember the name of it right now. It just says the agency and the port mafia, they like fight against each other, but now we have like common enemies. We kind of find anything of it together. Has some of my favorite characters of all time in this. It is just so good and hilarious. And to be honest, when going into this, I kind of hadn't remembered what happened last. So I was a bit confused in the beginning, but that's my own fault. But it's just such a good time. It has like all the characters are based on like writers from the real world, and all of their abilities are based on the abilities that not the writer had, but like what they wrote about or the themes of what they write about. It was just, it's so good and I love it so much. So I'm really glad I'm continuing. I already ordered 14, so it should be here soon, and I don't need to wait a year to read it. Then I read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Sevin, which was the next one in the Christy vlog. And this one just followed these 2 people who meet when they're really young. They have a falling out, but they meet again, and they love games and make games together. They make a game that is really popular. They make a company together, etc. But they have like really severe communication issues, and it's really like about life, about like people perceptions of, I would say, games in this time in the 90s. I think it's a hard book to describe like exactly what it is, because it's not really completely a love story, but a bit of one. It's just like these people has a deeper connection than anyone else. But I'm like, why can't you talk to each other then? So yeah, I was a bit frustrated with the book because I really like the concept of like the games and like everything there. And I loved the connection these characters had. I was just so frustrated that they couldn't talk to each other. And then like stuff happened in the end. I was just like, meh. So yeah, I didn't end up loving it. Like I was so into it like in 200-page mark. But it completely lost me when like we went towards the end. So it was a bit sad. I was just feeling like, oh my god, is this a 5-star read? Is this a 5-star read? And I ended up being like, I think 3.5. This is a bit disappointing. Then I read the last book for the Christy vlog. I read everything within a month, which is a miracle in itself, which is The Nightingale by Chris and Hannah. And this one is a World War II story with all 2 sisters that does different things for the war and helping around them, the goings of the war, because they're in France. And the other one is just write about like what the women did under the war that like people don't really talk about that much. And I think I liked it. I know like a lot of people think this is really beautiful and like love it a lot, and everyone's like, oh my god, you will cry, you will cry, you will cry. And when people tell me that, I'm like, no, I won't. Also, I like generally don't tend to cry that much in books, just sometimes. But I do think like you get really into the story, you care deeply for these characters, and I got deeply touched by it. I think it's a well-written book. It was good. I think it had like a beautiful relationship between these 2 sisters, and how it concluded was really cute as well. So I had a good time, and I want to watch the movie now because the Dakota Fanning and Elle Fanning is going to play the sisters. So apparently I want to watch the movie. And I think like it will be like, if they do it well, a really beautiful movie as well. I had a great time, I guess. So that was like my favorite for that vlog. Really, really surprising me as well. And the last book for the month that I read was The Book Eaters by Sunji Dean. This was the Face and Guest pick for the month, which was like, you know, the month of October. And I didn't know, you know, the plot for this. I just agreed that we were going to read this because I don't read synopsises. And in this one, we follow a mother. We have, what's her name again? Devon. And she is a book eater, so they basically eat book, they get knowledge, etc. from the books, but they don't remember anything. They just like, they have to eat it to survive, like, or else they starve. And then we are set in 2 timelines. So we set in the present day where she has a son that needs to eat people instead of books. And they like seems to be like on the run. So what is happening there? And then we follow like a story from like how she grew up and how this society works with book eaters, because they have a lot of fertility issues. So as a girl, she had to be married away to make babies with rich people, a bit like Handmaid's Tale-esque. And then, well, you will see what happens with like her. I don't want to say more, but definitely look up trigger warnings for this book. But it's really fun. I was really into it in the beginning. It was just such a good setup. Very interested to learn about how this society works. And then when things went down, I was like, meh. So yeah, I will get like more into details of like why exactly, because like it's a bit spoilery as well in the live show that we should have really soon. So hopefully you will come for that if you want to. I really think it had really cool concepts and a lot of cool things in it. So yeah, I don't regret reading it at all. It was a strong one, but I'm a bit unsure about my rating yet, so I will think on it till the live show. But like, I did enjoy it, and at the beginning, so good, but how it played out, I don't know. But yeah, I had a good time. And that was all the books I read in the month of October. I don't think we were here that long. I am pretty impressed with myself. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this book. And you shall see me soon in a new video. Leave a open book emoji down below if you enjoyed this, because Book Eaters was the last book I read for the month. So that's what we're doing. And you should see me soon in a new one. Check out my Patreon down below if you want to support my channel further on what I do here. And yeah, you shall see me soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!